and this is my biofuel project over ethanol. Biofuels are fuels made from living things. These fuels are renewable and cut down carbon emissions and other air pollutants. Ethanol, which is CH3CHOH, is a renewable fuel primarily made from starch in corn grain. Ethanol makes up to 10% of gasoline in the United States, which is called E10. Ethanol is made from corn, and corn is grown and cultivated primarily in the United States. The type of corn seed is dependent on yield and when and where they are grown. It's very weather dependent. So depending on whether it is a wet season or a very dry season, certain hybrid seeds will be chosen for growth. And it typically takes up to 3 to 4 months for the grain to be fully grown. After the corn seeds are planted into the ground, fertilizer is used to add extra nutrients such as potassium and nitrogen, and it's added to the soil. Field corn is harvested dry with a combine when the stalk is golden brown with hard, densely packed kernels. And the dried and threshed kernels using a combine is stored in a silo or grain bin to prevent excess moisture, temperature extremes, and pests. Ethanol is produced with the following steps. The first step is milling. The dried kernels are ground into a fine consistency and then combined with water to make a mash. The mash is heated, and enzymes, which are primarily alpha amylase, are added to the starch so that the starch is broken down into fermentable simple sugars, also known as dextrose. The corn mash is then fermented and mixed with yeast for about 48 hours, which changes the sugars to ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Then, the ethyl alcohol is separated from the mash using heat. But this time, this heat evaporates the ethyl alcohol, and the remaining alcohol is collected and condensed into a liquid form. The next step is dehydration. And at this point, the ethanol has 5% of water, and to purify it, the ethanol goes through a dehydration system of molecular membranes. Finally, the ethanol is denatured by adding 2 to 5% of gasoline to the ethanol. Ethanol made from sugarcane, corn, or beet sugar is widely available across the globe. These are known as first-generation ethanol. And the global production of corn is increasing over time, with the United States being the largest producer of ethanol. Ethanol significantly reduces greenhouse gas emissions compared to traditional gasoline. And according to the Department of Energy's Argonne National Laboratory, it cuts greenhouse gas emissions by 44 to 52% compared to the conventional fossil fuels. This is due to the fact that plants used for the renewable fuels recycle the atmospheric carbon dioxide whenever it is grown and re-released in a combusted state. Ethanol production increases the demand for agriculture jobs, thus supports job creation and economic growth. Ethanol production also supports farmers in rural areas by creating demand for the growth of corn, sugarcane, sugar beets, and switchgrass. There are many campaigns emphasizing the need for renewable energy resources. This includes the awareness and benefits of ethanol production on the environment and economy. I would recommend the increased production of ethanol because according to the data, ethanol is proven to both decrease carbon emissions and support economic growth. I would recommend better communication of the importance of biofuels in the industry, along with research to find a better and more efficient fuel. Along with that, if funding was not an obstacle, I would promote the growth of ethanol production around the world. And these are my references. Thank you very much.